So ask yourself about this pain, and wherever there's pain, there's fear. Because every time you have one of those little things, there's fear, and wherever there's fear, there isn't love. So start sending love to this pain instead of fear to it, and meditate on it, and ask, what is it that you want from me? Why is it that you've shown up here? Do I have to slow down, perhaps? For me, I look at being on stage and having to go off in sharp, excruciating pain. And when I came back out, I asked the question, what is this for me? And it's like I start to realize that the kinds of things that I'm talking about now related to divine love and much more emphasis on kindness and moving this world away from the inner terror that so many people have that is creating so much of the outer terror and the outer terrorism, the hatred that's in our hearts. This requires me to perhaps sit down and just talk to people and just look directly at them and to just have a conversation, just like I'm doing right now with you, rather than standing up and performing and so on. So maybe this is the universe's way of saying, sit down, just relax. And I've been dealing with this pain. It's been almost chronic for about four weeks now, sometimes where it'll just take me to my knees. But every time it does, I say a prayer of gratitude for it and ask, what's in it for me? And I know that many people have come to me with a lot of help. I've decided not to feed it any longer, pain pills and things like that, because I just don't like what those things, what the side effects of them are on my body, and putting those kinds of drugs into my body is not something that I want to do. So I'm cleansing and just taking it as just another lesson. As everything that comes into our life comes for a reason. And so talk to it in those ways. Because I've just written an entire book about this called I Can See Clearly Now. It won't be out until March. But I looked at all of the experiences, starting with my earliest years in foster care, right up until just a recent experience I had in Turkey at the home of the Mother of Jesus in Ephesus. And every experience in between was all part of a tapestry that was orchestrated by a divine purpose. And while our lives are laid out for us, we select them before we come into this world. We also have choices to make along the way when whatever it is that we are supposed to learn is presented to us right there before us. And that's why I spoke this morning about when you're in pain and when you're struggling, instead of praying for it to go away and hoping that and asking yourself, why is this happening to me, or putting the responsibility for it on some silly idea that you've done something to deserve this. Instead, you make a shift. You just make a shift and say that, everything, life is hills and valleys. And this is just a little valley. And when I'm in a valley, the only direction I can go, if I keep moving, is out of the valley and to the top. And when you're at the top, the only direction you can go, if you keep moving, is back down into another valley. And that's the sign, that sign of, when you study about electricity, it's a sign. There's a zenith and there's a nadir. There's an up and there's a down to it. That's how life is. And when these things come along, be in a state of gratitude for it, and talk to it, and ask what is it that I have to learn from it, and get out of the way of agonizing over it, or being upset with it, or feeling sorry for yourself about it, and instead say thank you, whatever it is that you have to teach me. Diane's lying on her back right there right now. She needs to lie on her back today for whatever reason. She needs to have time to just go within and get quiet. I needed to experience leukemia in order to become a more God-realized person, a more compassionate person. I needed to go through a separation from my wife 13 years ago, and the pain and almost clinical depression that followed that, in order to be able to come to a more compassionate, kind, loving place myself. And I've written 6 or 7 books since that occurred, all of which have impacted the lives of millions and millions of people. And those millions of people, many of whom are listening right now, couldn't have been impacted in those ways had I not written those books. And I couldn't have written those books if everything had just been going along hunky-dory the way I wanted it to go. I needed to have the valley. I needed to have it. And it's all part of it. And when you really, truly come to an awareness that who you are is not this body, and not all this stuff that you accumulate, and that who you are is really an infinite, divine, God-realized being, a piece of God, that just keeps occupying new bodies throughout your entire time, from the time you are 8 pounds until you're, dying, that who you are is that invisibleness, that is indestructible, that is you're carrying around something that is deathless within you. And the best way to take care of that temple that you live in is to get closer and closer to God. And that's my answer to that. Yeah, be grateful. Be in a state of gratitude. Be in a state of gratitude for all of it, even the times when it seems to be the hardest. Say thank you. Try to just say thank you for it, and just watch and see. It'll motivate you to want to do something for others rather than to think about yourself as well.